Call the meeting to order. Before we start, I'd like to offer condolences to the Espinosa family on behalf of the board and administration. So we need to have a motion to carry on into executive session now? Yeah.
So,
Second. All in favor?
Aye.
Motion carries. We'll go up there. Reconvene. Open meeting. There was no action taken in the closed meeting. To rise for the pledge of allegiance. I pledge allegiance to the flag
of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
General Management Report.
Mr. Chairman, we have the financial report. Start with.
Good evening, Chairman, members of the board. My name is Anthony Garcia, Chief Financial Officer from Brownsville PUB. I will be going over the financial performance report as of June. And in the interest of time, I'm just going to go over some bottom line highlights here. Well, 9/7 gross revenues year to date, $125,849,000. Adjusted gross revenues, $86,502,000 after backing out fuel and wholesale expenses and Southmost contributions. Total requirements, $60.2 million, leaving a balance of $23,145,093, which has been utilized to fund the city transfer of $5,548,186, leaving $17,592,407 for internal uses, of which $11,539,872 on line 25 there has been applied to CIP project funding, leaving a balance of to surplus of $6,052,000. We have favorable variances in these graphs for adjusted gross revenues, fuel, and O&M. On the consumption side, electric seems to be trending in line with 2011 levels. We are approximately 2.3% above 2011 levels. On the water side, we are, however, below 2011 levels by 1.7%. You'll see the purple trend here of 682 compared to 760. Same with the wastewater. We are 1.8% below 2011 levels. For the month of June, we had 459 million gallons versus 503 in 2011. Our electric rates, residential rates for the average 1,000 kWh user continue to be the lowest in the area at 84.83 for the month of June. The red line here marks the comparison between the various utilities, various IOUs there. And for the 12 months, we were at $90.03. Part of this is attributable to our low fuel factor, which has remained at 3.2 cents for the last 3 months. Compared to other municipal utilities, same story here at 84.83. We are the lowest compared to the normal other municipals that we compare ourselves to, both on the for the month of June and the 12-month rolling price of 90.03. The closest one on the 12 months is San Marcos there, and on the monthly was Cape Carville at 85. That concludes my financial presentation. I'll be glad to answer any questions.
Thank you.
We have a presentation by Susan Walker on Facility Service Bill Payment Arrangements.
Good afternoon, Chairman, members of the board. How are you?
I spoke with Mr. Hernandez. He gave us a heads up.
Great. And we made this presentation to the Finance Committee in June. We just wanted to share the rest with the report with the rest of the board. Thank you. The customer activity for fiscal year 2011, for total transactions combined, CSR activity, that would be walk-in and calls, for 309,704 transactions. The IVR was 262,561 for a combined of 572,000. The presentation really is revolving around the payment arrangement side of the activity that we have. Combined activity for payment arrangement request was 32% of our business. 182,900 payment arrangement requests came through in that time period. Of those requests, 85,184 were actually issued with a dollar value of $19,213,000. Of those, 48,000 were defaulted. 57% of our customers didn't keep their payment arrangements as they had made them. Year-to-date, up to June, new fiscal year, we're following the same trend. 57% of the payment arrangements that we've made have also been defaulted. So what we're trying to do is tighten up and require customers to keep their payment arrangements in order to continue to get new payment arrangements so that we can improve our collection stream. Of the 60,235 customer accounts that we had last year, fiscal year end, 16,781 actually made payment arrangements, 28% of our customers. And they use the payment arrangements to avoid disconnection. Of those 16,700 customers, 50% of them have made more than 4 payment arrangements in the year. And as you can tell, a lot of them are not being kept. So they're just repeats. And it clogs up the whole system, slows down the process. So payments, according to the city ordinance, payments are due when the bills are issued. And they're considered late after 15 days according to the ordinance, and we should penalize 6%. And through our billing process, we've increased that to 21 days before the penalty is actually applied. So customers are given a lot of extra consideration. And we have some structure for payment arrangements, how we set them up. They're all in your packets. Basically, we try to keep the customers to within a 2-bill extension. They have one bill that can be passed due and then a new bill that's pending. It's on special occasions or special situations where it might get extended beyond that. We've opened up options for customers to email requests. They can request the payment arrangement over the IVR, through the phone, and in person. We want to do some more to automate that process. And here's a classification of certain situations that we try not to make any arrangements for. The plan that we'd like to take to the board and just to make you all aware of it is that we want to automate the payment arrangement process so that the IVR will actually run a whole set of queries and issue the payment arrangement, and it won't have to be reviewed by a CSR. Currently, the CSRs have to review and approve all of the payment arrangements coming in. It would standardize the decision process and reduce the process time that it takes to review the account. The system would actually be doing all of this. So we're hoping that we can get that going. This is the layout, a diagram of the process that the automation will undertake. Some of the things that the CSRs are looking at, and this will actually happen in seconds instead of 5 minutes or 10 minutes, depends on the whole customer interaction. And this just goes to, we are looking at previous balances when the customers call in to ask for or come in, what they owe, how many arrangements they've made, how many have been kept, and so on, before we decide on making it. And of course, the uncollectibles, they go into write-off. This is a history of the last 5 years, how much is recovered, and then the net losses, and late charges, help to offset those write-offs. Do y'all have any questions?
To your knowledge, do other utilities offer this type of payment arrangement for their time?
Not really.
And
Magic
it's not-
Valley doesn't, AEP doesn't. Well, they'll make one, and if you break it, they won't make another one.
And we make payment arrangements for both residential and commercial. Thank you.
Okay. Thank you.
Thank you. We're going to start with item number 3.
Yes.
Consideration approval of sponsorship for the Arts Center Signature 2012-2013 series at the UTB and Fixed Topic College.
Chair, members of the board, Mr. Berard, Director of Arts Center at UTB PSC, is requesting Arts Center signature series sponsorship opportunity levels are attached in your packet. Arts here.
I'm passing out a couple of other handouts for you. Related.
John, last year, did we participate with
I know,
Yes, you did.
We
That's,
did,
that's
right?
what that first,
yes.
first thing is I'm going to report back to you what you paid for last year.
Excellent.
First of all, the Fixture series is committed to making a difference in the cultural life of the Lower Rio Grande Valley by inviting world-class performing artists to perform in our spectacular arts center. And in order to do that, to get the highest quality of performers in one of the poorest cities in America, we have to rely heavily on sponsorships and grants and support from the university in order to bridge that gap. And PUB helped us last year, and I'm here first and foremost to thank you for that. What you have in that first sheet is a list of our educational outreach activities from last year, which is the portion of the series that you sponsored specifically. We did that, I don't know if you recall, but at the time that I came to visit with you last year, we had already obtained sponsors for all of our shows, and so I suggested that as kind of a fallback position, well, why don't you sponsor our outreach? It turned out to be the very best sponsorship you could have had. PUB was acknowledged publicly from the stage at all 9 of our events when I was able to say that you sponsored the educational outreach activity that happened earlier that day. Over 3,000 students took part in those activities, and it ended up being a very, very good representation of PUB for that. And I'm going to suggest that you would consider doing the exact same thing again. What you have in the next sheet, the one that has your logo at the bottom, this is unofficial, so don't worry, I'm not putting this out just yet. But those are our outreach activities for this year. You can see all of our shows in the glossy brochure I gave you, but the ones that have a special outreach component are listed separately on that the sheet that's listed with, I think it says down the side, 2012, 2013 outreach shows. And they include a number of matinee performances, which we schedule at 1 o'clock so that schools can bring busloads of children to see it. And then in several cases masterclass performances by performers that are masters of their instrument that we design primarily for students, public school and university students who are interested in music, or in one case in dance, in the case of Ragamala. These are highly visible, and we again would do the same thing as we did last year. The sponsor for that portion of our shows would be acknowledged at all of the events. You would get the same full-page ad in our program for all 9 shows, and you would get the full benefits of sponsorship from that. There are, to be thorough, several shows that are still available this year, unlike last year. So those are available for your consideration as well. And I have, I think you have this sheet, but I have an updated version which has the unavailable shows scratched out.
okay, I think it's there.
Last year was a standard $5,000 event sponsorship. And I'd like to encourage you to consider doing that again. Let me just think for a moment if I have failed to say anything important.
I want to congratulate y'all on doing an excellent job with
Thank you.
bringing beautiful performances to Brownsville, which is definitely a need for this area. Do you have any questions, Oscar?
The mayor's not here, but I was going to point out that one of the shows that's still available is the Leela Downs event. And a large number of people that I know, I don't know how there could be this many people, have told me that they first heard Leela Downs in a bar in Oaxaca when they went to Tony's wedding. So the mayor may have some interest in that show. I don't know how as many people have told me that could possibly fit in that bar. I wonder if people have adopted that story because it sounds good, rather than they imagine that they were there. But, anyway, I'll leave that to you. Whatever you decide is great with us. If you can't do it every year, and I will come back to you every year. We appreciate what support we can get. Thank you very much.
Standard, the motion is for the standard sponsor package of 5,000. Is there a second?
Second.
Second by Mr. Vasquez. Any questions? All in favor?
Aye.
Motion carried. Thank you very much. Thank you.
You can just let me know which one.
Thank you. Thank you. Item number 4, Leandro Garcia, investment report.
Yes, I'll be very brief with this report. Our investment portfolio totaling $167 million, pretty much consisted of 5 major categories: agency securities, bank deposits, investment pool and money markets, CDs, and our money market fund. Our distribution for those 5 categories, $28 million, $592 in agencies, yielding a range from 51 to 113. Our Wells Fargo account for our earnings credit rate earns 1%. And then we had our investment pools, 91 million, averaging a 12, 13, and the component that contains CP, 37 basis points. Our CDs, 3.9 million, 48, 49 basis points there. And our money market, a low 6 and 13. Overall, 17 and 18. Overall, our yield was 38 basis points. Our distribution of those 5 categories is presented here in this pie chart, mainly the biggest portion investment pools. When compared to the S&P Government Investment Pool Index, the blue line way down below, we do exceed it, 0.06 versus 38 as of June. And then we also threw in a comparison to the 91-day T-bill for the quarters ending December, March, and June. As of June, our 38 compared favorably to that 91-day T-bill of 90 basis points. That concludes my presentation. I'll answer any questions.
No questions?
And this is a no action item.
Thank you. Item number 5, Leandro Garcia, consideration approval of amendment number 10 for the fiscal year 2012 capital improvement plan budget.
Yes, amendment number 10 provides funding for our fire hydrant replacement project that is soon to commence, and we are recommending funding of $1.3 million from prior year surplus funds. We are confident that these monies will be spent within the next 12 months in 2 phases of fire hydrant activity. We do have a related item, number 13, for part of the first phase that will come later in the agenda. But we opted to fully fund this at this point, at least to seek full funding from the board in anticipation of the activity that will get underway here.
Any questions? Okay, motion is to go with the BPUB staff recommendation.
Second.
Second, Mr. Vasquez. Any questions, comments? All in favor?
Aye.
Aye, motion carries. Item 6, Mr. Garcia, consideration approval of amendment number 11 for the fiscal year 2012 capital improvement plan budget.
Item number 11, amendment number 11, seeks funding of $280,850 for two projects. The first is to supplement what was previously funded for the North and South Colonias. We had a $500,000 budget. We are seeking additional funding of $185,850 to complete the work associated with those projects, primarily easement related engineering services. We also are requesting $95,000 for utility improvements on West Jefferson Street, which are also, both of these are also provided in separate agenda items for specific approval to the projects. So the total of $280,850 as Amendment 11 is what we're seeking here for approval.
Motion by Mr. Vasquez for staff recommendation, second Mr. Nakira. All in favor?
Aye.
Motion carries. Item 7, Mr. Garcia, consideration approval of a resolution by the BPUB for the city of Brownsville, Texas, consenting to the issuance of water supply contract revenue refunding bonds by Southmost Regional Water Authority, recommending the city of Brownsville, Texas to authorize the issuance of the water supply contract revenue refunding bonds by Southmost Regional Water Authority and other matters in connection therewith.
Yes, our financial advisor, San Jose and Bond Counsel, Fulbright and Jaworski, are proceeding with the refunding of $14,990,000 in bonds, with new bonds of $13,800,000. We have presented this to the Southmost Board, to the City Commission, had our first reading approved last Tuesday. We are in a favorable position with the market at this time. We anticipate achieving about 11.3% in savings, or net present value savings of $1.7 million. So we are seeking the board's authorization of this resolution.
Any question? Motion by staff recommendation, Mr. Nakira. Second, Mr. Garcia. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye, motion carries. Item 8, Mr. Garcia.
Item 8 seeks approval for annual supply of electric inventory. We do have 12 items that will require casting of lots here, and then I'll let Diane read the specific vendors that she has recommended for use.
Okay, we took open bids for the annual supply of electric inventory material, and we have casting of lots of several items. So the first item is item number 52, to either Wesco or HD Supply.
HD Supply.
Item 65, to Wesco or HD Supply.
HD Supply.
Item 69, to Wesco or HD Supply.
HD Supply.
Item 70, to Wesco or HD Supply.
HD Supply.
Item 72. Item 72 is to Stuart C. Irby or HD Supply.
Stuart C. Irby.
Item 84 to Wesco or HD Supply.
Let's go.
Item 85 to Wesco or HD Supply.
That was 85. Oh, no.
No, that was 84.
This is 84.
Let's go.
Item 86 to Wesco or HD Supply.
Wesco Distribution.
Item 88 to Wesco or HD Supply.
HD Supply.
Item 89 to Wesco or HD Supply.
Wesco.
Item 91 to Wesco or HD Supply.
Wesco.
Item 163 to Stewart C. Irby, Texas Electric Co-op, or Priester Mellon Nicholson.
Texas Electric Co-op.
Okay, so PUB staff recommends approval of bid award for the annual supply of electrical inventory material to the low bidders, meeting specifications as follows. Tech Line of San Antonio in the amount of $95,713.50. Wesco Distribution of San Antonio in the amount of $129,092.70. Stewart C. Irby of San Antonio in the amount of $31,158.20. Spectrum Power Products of Bath, Pennsylvania in the amount of $4,792.50. HD Supply of San Antonio, Texas in the amount of $53,284.21. Texas Electric Co-op of Georgetown, Texas in the amount of $24,878.90. Priester Mellon Nicholson of San Antonio in the amount of $49,203.95. Sun Enterprises of Blanco, Texas in the amount of $42,519, plus the casting of lots in the amount of $3,460.50, for a grand total amount not to exceed $434,103.46.
So move. Motion by Mr. Naka. Second. Second by Mr. Garcia. Questions, comments? No? All in favor?
Aye.
Motion carries. Mr. Garcia, item number 9.
This is consideration and approval for the annual supply of electric meters, fixtures, and lamps. The purchasing department opened bids on July 12th. We sent out to 8 vendors and 9 responded. One of the vendors picked up the specs from the internet. So PUB staff recommends approval of the bid award for the annual supply of electric meters, fixtures, and lamps to the low bidders, meeting specifications as follows. Border States of Brownsville in the amount of $212,800.90. Stewart C. Irby of San Antonio in the amount of $135,076.80. Wesco Distribution of San Antonio in the amount of $78,234.04. Texas Electric Co-op of Georgetown in the amount of $108. HD Supply of San Antonio in the amount of $164.04. And International Lighting Corporation of Hammond, Indiana in the amount of $101,307.52, for a grand total amount not to exceed $427,691.30.
Motion by Mr. Garcia. Second by Mr. Naka. All in favor? Motion carries. Item 10, Mr. Garcia.
Yes, this is for consideration of approval of a rebid for annual janitorial services. Staff went out to solicit bids for janitorial services, sent out the invitation to 12 vendors, and 7 vendors responded. At this point, staff is recommending Nunez Cleaning Services for a grand total not to exceed $70,219.92. Our current vendor is UCS, United Cleaning Service, and we have attached some information regarding the process and some evaluation criteria of the current custodian.
Any questions?
I do have a question.
Mr. Vasquez?
Yes, there was a bid process, correct?
Yes, we went out with specifics on the locations and had walkthroughs, and
Right, and the recommendation is to award the contract
to the most responsible bidder? Are you going for responsibility or are you going for a low bidder?
We are basing it on both, because we did get favorable referrals on the recommended provider. We did, went out and did some referral validating or checking, and there is extensive, there's a matrix that begins, I believe, on page 30 that captured some of the recommended vendors' current clients. You want to recap the overall summary of the responses? Yes, it's been recommended, and like I say, we've gotten very favorable responses. So it's a combination of the price, which is $70,000, and favorable responses, as well as what the provider is currently performing, how they're performing for us at this point, because that company is servicing some of the facilities at this point.
One question, as far as the lack of signatures, on Garza and Jerry,
We require that every submittal for authenticity be signed by a representative. That's common on all submittals. If we accept a blank, then we get into potential disputes and who submitted it and whatever.
We have it in two places in the bid document. It's in the upfront specs, and then on the sign-in page, we also have where they're supposed to sign it. We have it in bold letters that they need to sign the
It's a
document.
clear requirement that's specified, and we cannot waver from it.
I don't understand that, but then we get to them, why would they submit it with no signature?
In a rush, or I mean, we can't speculate, but something occurred in the last minute that they
Somebody may have filled
oversaw.
in the prices for them, and then they just turn it over, and the person just maybe read the prices and didn't sign it. I don't know, it doesn't say why they didn't sign it.
Now, that has occurred in other bids also in today's meeting or packet, where some vendors just failed to authenticate the submittal.
And the next question I have is that it states on the report from some of the utility staff that UCS has been working for 4 years, correct? The last 2 or 3 years, they have done unsatisfactory work. Is there documentation to back that up? Because all I saw was July 2012.
I have emails here that were sent to Hector since 2009 to current, that emails going back and forth from the end users to Hector.
That was my question. So
We
it's-
have documentation here.
Yes, I have it.
That was my question.
So here again, our recommendation is an award for janitorial services to Nunez Cleaning Services of Brownsville for a total not to exceed $70,219.92.
So moved. Motion, Mr. Garcia.
Was it from Brownsville or Nichols?
This is from Olmedo.
Second. Commissioner Nakara, any other questions? All in favor?
Aye.
Motion carries. Item number 11. Mr. Garcia.
Yes, after a low vendor response, previously, the board opted to rebid the work for annual contract for concrete work. We did release a rebid, send it out to 13 vendors, and 4 responded. We do have the attachment comparing the prices submitted. The recommended vendor is GP7 Construction, with the prices listed out of $650 for driveway, $4 for sidewalk, $850 for curb and gutter, $10 for saw cutting, $650 for valley gutter, and $100, which we are not at this point opting to incorporate in the agreement, for a total of $164,238. We did achieve somewhat more favorable pricing than the first round from the initial vendor, so we are recommending GP7 Construction.
Any questions? Motion, Mr. Nakara, staff recommendation. Second, Mr. Garcia. Any questions? All in favor? Aye, motion carries. Item number 12, Ms. Gomez.
Mr. Chairman, members of the board, this is a presentation by Freese and Nichols of their findings from phase 1 of the filter rehab project for water plant number 1 and number 2. We have Mr. Ray Longoria and Mr. Gary Smith from Freese and Nichols that will be presenting they're going to be summarizing the report and outlining their findings and recommendations. There's no action required on this.
Good evening, Mr. Chair and board members. My name is Gary Smith. I'm with Freese and Nichols. Pleased to be here tonight to present the findings and recommendations from the filter system rehabilitation study that we've been conducting for y'all. We'll jump right into the findings first. First of all, we did not find any problems with compliance with drinking water